Hello there, and welcome to The Piping Show, episode 33 of The Piping Show. My name's Andrew Bova. It's my pleasure to once again be your host this week, where I'll be joined by Pipe Major Ewan Henderson of the Police Scotland and Federation Pipe Band. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content and share it with your friends. Help us get the news out to the rest of the piping and drumming world. Also today, be sure to stick around for today's news segment, where our news correspondent, Helen Urquhart, will be announcing the winner of our online subscriber competition. And actually, let's not wait around for that. Let's just go right now to Helen Urquhart with this week's news.
The Scottish outdoor pipe band season started last weekend. On Saturday, May the 13th, the Dunbar Pipe Band Championships took place. The Grade 1 was won by the City of Edinburgh Pipe Band. On Sunday, May the 14th, the Urquhart Piping Championships took place. Grade 1 was won overall by Inveraray District, with Peoplesford, Boghole and Bathgate, Caledonia, winning the drumming. Also happening on Sunday the 14th of May, the North of Scotland Pipe Band Championships took place in Banchory. The Grade 1 event there was won overall by Buck and Peterson Pipe Band. On Saturday 13th of May, the Livingston Invitational took place in Hamilton, Ontario. This event was won overall by Sean McEwen. I can also now announce the winners of our 2,000 subscriber contest. Thank you to everybody who has so far subscribed to our channel, and we hope you stick around for more information and videos. The winners were Nikolai Hagen-Hoos, Jill Campbell, and Anthony Kelly. If this is you, please email us at marketing@thepipingcentre.co.uk for more information on how to claim your prize. The Piping Live Festival has a big announcement coming tomorrow, 17th of May. If you would like first access to tickets and all the information, go to our website, www.pipinglive.co.uk, before midnight tonight, Tuesday the 16th of May, to register your email address to find out everything first.
Hello there. For today's history segment, I thought we would take a look at a couple of items from our museum that are related to today's guest, Pipe Major Ewan Henderson of the Police Scotland and Federation Pipe Band. Now, Police Scotland and Federation Pipe Band can trace its roots back to the Borough of Govan Police Pipe Band, which was formed in 1883 and was indeed one of the first non-military pipe bands to come into existence. The band's first pipe major was Pipe Major William Bremer, who was succeeded by Walter Drysdale, and then succeeded in 1898 by Alexander Hutchin. And it's Pipe Major Hutchin's artifacts that we have here today. So on display in our museum, we have Pipe Major Hutchin's sporran. And if we look on the back, and you might have to zoom in here a fair bit, you can actually see a stamp that says PM GPB, which would stand for Pipe Major Govan Police Band. And the maker's hallmark in the middle is R.G. Laurie's hallmark. To complement this fantastic piece of pipe band history, we have a photo of the band from sometime during Alexander Hutchin's reign as Pipe Major, which was 1898 to 1913. And we can see Hutchin in the middle here, and just a little whisper of the sporran. Pipe Major Hutchin was succeeded in 1913 by the famous Willie Laurie. It was also at that time that a few things about the band changed. The band initially wore their own design tartan that was made by the chief constable of the band in 1883. In 1913, they would switch to the now famous and iconic Royal Stuart tartan. That was also the year that the name of the band changed for the first time, which it became City of Glasgow Police Pipe Band. The band would undergo a number of name changes. In 1975, the band became the Strathclyde Police Pipe Band, probably the most famous iteration of the name. And then in 2013, the band became Greater Glasgow Police Pipe Band. And in 2021, as the sort of scope of the band looked to all of Scotland, the band became Police Scotland and Federation Pipe Band. It's interesting to look at how the name of the band has shifted over time in response to the requirements of the police force. Initially, the band was called borough of Govan. But in 1913, the reason the name of the band changed was that both Govan and Partick were annexed into Glasgow, so the name had to reflect that wider catchment. Again, in 1975, the Glasgow Police became a part of a 5 police precinct, I think that would be the right word, district that was known as Strathclyde Police. And then now it kind of oversees all of Scotland. If you'd like to hear more about the name change to Police Scotland and Federation, stick around for my interview with Ewan. Both of these items are on permanent display if you would like to come see them in the National Piping Centre Museum. Ewan, thanks for coming in. It's nice to actually get a chat with you at work when we're not just kind of like ships passing in the night in the front hall. I'll start with a question that we kind of start with everybody, which is, how did you actually get into piping?
Well, it actually stemmed way back when I was a little boy, and I had an interest in it. My father played. He was taught by some good players in North London, and I was exposed to piping and pipe bands from a very early age. And there's photographs of me of a little boy sitting with huge headphones on, listening to my dad's LPs of bands, you know, Shots and The Police, all the way through the kind of 70s and 80s. And it stemmed from there, and I had a real interest in it. And I remember my dad taking me to lots of different pipe band competitions as a young boy, and it's something I became really, really interested in. And I was very, very fortunate that my dad taught me. And he was there on tap at home all the time to not just teach me, but correct me and guide me through the whole kind of learning process. And I was in Yorkshire. I lived in Yorkshire, so I was raised in Yorkshire at the time, so it was quite unusual. But there was several good bands in the middle belt in England, particularly over in Manchester, and the northeast of England as well. So I was exposed to that all the way through my early teens, and had a brilliant upbringing and a brilliant base by my dad. My dad knew his own limitations as well, and he was very encouraging towards me recording everything that I went to. So my dad would bring me up to every World Championships and all the Glenfiddichs, and you know, I'd secrete my personal recorder and my microphone on me, and I basically record everything that I possibly could and try and emulate that when I went home. And really all those recordings of the great players in the 80s and 90s, and you know, my formative years, listened to Roddy McLeod, Willie McCallum, Bill Livingston. And then with the bands, obviously the Police Pipe Band, the Strathclyde Police Pipe Band, the 78th Fraser Highlanders, Simon Fraser University, were all really, really influential on me and gave me a platform to really go forward and enjoy my piping. So when I was 17, I moved away from Yorkshire to come to Scotland to further my piping.
Was that to join the police, or was that kind of a joint effort?
Well, I wanted to come to Scotland, so I studied up here. And really, I never went home. I went to Stirling University, okay. Which was great. I was in striking distance of Glasgow, and I had an audition with Black Bottle pipe band with Don Bradford, and struck up a good friendship with Don. And Don was keen to get me playing in the band, and that was a fantastic experience, you know, playing at that level straight away.
Like Black Bottle, it's interesting how much that comes up in conversation. It's such an overlooked band, I think, by so many people. It's a real unfortunate thing once bands cease to exist. Sometimes they're quickly forgot about in sort of living culture. Yeah, I never knew you played in Black Bottle. So you went to Black Bottle with Don Bradford, and then...
Yeah, and I was busy with... I played with Don for a couple of seasons, which was brilliant, and there's some fantastic players in that band. Rory Grossart, Alan Minty, to name just a few, John Patrick. And that was brilliant, being surrounded by them. And watching Don set up the band, his musicality, his musical ear was really, really influential on me as well. And I was busy with study at the time, so I took a break. And by the time I'd finished university, it was a bit of a job hunt. And I didn't want to go back down to England. I wanted to stay in Scotland. And the opportunity to join the police, Strathclyde Police, came up. And it was a really exciting opportunity to play with Strathclyde Police Pipe Band. So I joined the police, and I was fortunate enough to play with the band as well. and that was with under Pipe Major Ewan Plunkett.
Right. Okay.
And then after that came Pipe Major James Walk.
Jim Walk.
Yeah, and then when he retired, Donald Mackay. So and then Don Bradford was in the police by that point. So he was a Pipe Major. So I went through quite a few different Pipe Majors, and I was exposed to all that kind of experience and watching them do their craft as well, which was very, perhaps fortunate for me that I saw all those different methodologies, but perhaps a bit of a shame for the band that they saw so many Pipe Majors, but we're here.
Yeah. So then what, you had your stint, well, 2 stints actually, right, with the police band. And then you ended up at Glasgow Sky, very famous or very successfully, winning the Worlds in 2017 and the European Championships in Grade 2, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Easily overlooked, I suppose. But so how did you end up getting to that position?
I'd played with the police band for such a long time, and I had thoroughly enjoyed it. And I suppose there was something in me that thought I'd like to try leading a band. And I knew the Glasgow Sky pipe band was a big name. It was an institution. And when the opportunity came, when Kenny MacLeod said he was going to stand down, I was successful at interview for the band. It was something I wanted to do, something I was really interested in doing. I was fortunate to get the post. I promised them at the interview that we'd be world champions within 3 years. So the heat was on in 2017. We're up against primarily Lomond and Clyde pipe band with Dave Wilton. And there was a bit of a good competition between the 2 bands in that year.
That was a really fun year to watch Grade 2.
Yeah, well, fun was it? Okay.
From the outside looking in, at least.
And we were fortunate. We won the Europeans and the Worlds. Dave and Lomond and Clyde scooped up the other 3, and we both got promoted to Grade 1. But that journey, that 3-year journey with Glasgow Sky was fantastic. I learned a load. I was very fortunate enough to have Arthur Cook as my leading drummer, and all the experience and musicality that he brought along to the journey as well, and it really did change it. And then in 2017 I could really feel the band progressing and the build up towards the World Championships. We were over at Dunbar for a competition there, and we played really, really well in both Grade 2 and playing up into Grade 1, and it was a great lead up to the week to the Worlds. I knew we'd played well at the qualifier. And in the final, just gave the band a pep talk beforehand and said, look, we can do this. We went out, had a very short tune-up, and we sounded well and we won. It was fantastic, and memories there that'll be with me for the rest of my life, with some great friends from the band as well.
Well, it puts you in a very small club as a pipe major who's won the Worlds in any grade, which is a huge achievement. I'm curious, we're talking about taking a band from Grade 2 into Grade 1, and of course now you're the Pipe Major at another Grade 1 band, Police Scotland Federation, which we'll get to in a moment. I'm curious, what's the difference, or is there a difference between being a Pipe Major in Grade 2 and a Pipe Major in Grade 1?
A little bit, and I suppose every Pipe Major would say they've got their own reflection on that. There's a little bit more, if you like, nursing and encouragement for players in grades perhaps 3 and 2, and compared to Grade 1. The expectation for me in Grade 1 is that a player to come to the band has to have absolute A1 maintenance of the bagpipe, be able to learn the tunes quickly, stand there, play, attend regularly. That's my minimum expectation for Grade 1, whereas in Grade 2, I get people choose to play in Grade 2 for a reason. So I think there needs to be a little bit more latitude perhaps, but there's still a very competitive edge, which is the same right across every grade, I would say. And to win in any grade, no matter what age you play at, whether it be novice, juvenile, Grade 4, Grade 3, to win any major competition, particularly the Worlds, is really, really special. And it's great to have that in Grade 1, and everybody looks to the Grade 1 World Champions and as that benchmark and what to strive to and achieve. But to do it in any grade is absolutely fantastic for not just the Pipe Major, but the whole team in that band. It's absolutely brilliant. So there are some similarities, but subtle differences, I would say.
Yeah. So then, thinking about your transition from Glasgow Sky to Police Scotland and Federation. Now, I've got my dates a wee bit muddled in my head. Was it Police Scotland Federation when you came on as Pipe Major, or how did that evolution into Police Scotland Federation happen?
So during lockdown hit with coronavirus, and Arthur Cook, my leading drummer at Glasgow Sky, took that opportunity to retire after all the hard work that he'd done throughout his pipe band career, and I completely respected that. It seemed the right time for me at that point to step away from Glasgow Sky as well. I'd taken it, I think, as far as I possibly could with that great team of players and pipers. So I did that, and then just really as that happened, Duncan Nicholson, who was the pipe major of the Glasgow Police pipe band, got in touch and said, would I help and support, just kind of putting a better structure into the band, and assisting with whatever skills that I had to further the band. I got involved with Duncan, and very quickly it occurred to both of us and the leading drummer, Davey Henderson, that we needed a much better structure for the band. We approached the Chief Constable and the Police Federation for that better structure. We now have that in place. The Chief Constable kindly agreed to support the police officers in the band with attending practices, events and competitions. And that's now written into police policy, which had never been done before. And also approaching the Federation for financial support. And we now have that as a rolling support, which again we never had that on a secure footing. So all that now is written into various different constitutions and policy. So with that came a request from the Chief Constable, Sir Ian Livingston, to reflect properly Police Scotland, rather than just have it as a kind of reflecting a small area within Scotland, because there's several police bands had already unfortunately disbanded. We look at Lothian and Borders, Police Pipe Band, Dumfries and Galloway, to name just two. And what we didn't want is for that small micro pockets of police pipe bands to disappear forever. So with that came the request from the Chief to properly represent Police Scotland. And with that came the opportunity to look for us to further the band and provide progress to the band and a future for the band. And with that came the idea for the Police Scotland pipe band. But to reflect the Federation's financial support and the fact that they support so fantastically well, it was only right and proper that we included the Federation in the name as well. So born was Police Scotland Federation Pipe Band, and we wear the Police Scotland Federation tartan as well. So there's a lot of hard work done by the pipe band, and we've got a really supportive committee in place now, and that committee consists of senior officers within Police Scotland. So they're a fantastic bunch of senior officers who are there to support us if anything is needed from the Police Scotland point of view. And we also have the Federation as well, who sit on that committee as well. So all that structure now is in place for what I think is hopefully a really bright future for the band, provides a platform for progress in the band for long-term future rather than just kind of short-termism.
So that process of putting all those steps in place to secure the band's future, that sounds like an immense amount of work. Surely, you're a force of nature unto yourself, but was there any team involved with that?
Oh, completely. And if there was one benefit from lockdown and bands not being able to get out and compete and do their thing, it was providing us with the opportunity to put the building blocks in place. And without doubt, I look at and thank Duncan Nicholson, my pipe sergeant, and Davey Henderson, my leading drummer, for sticking with it and providing all that support as well as the senior officers within the organisation, Stuart Carl, Gordon McCready, and Alan Gibson to support that and be the conduit to the Chief Constable. So yeah, without that support, it wouldn't have happened, and for it to have happened has been absolutely fantastic.
That's excellent. Well, it's been great sitting and chatting to you. I made mention at the start of this, being like ships passing in the night at the front desk. If people at home don't know, Ewan's been brought on as a member of the teaching staff, so is available for lessons if anybody would like to book in. Thank you very much for taking the time to sit and chat with me today.
No, thanks very much. Been great. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Yeah.